Yay! Wow, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, sis. Good
Hello.
morning.
Hello, polka dots.
Yes. How are you?
I'm fine. Better for seeing you.
Oh, sis,
We're
sis,
together
sis.
again.
Yes. Oh, it's nice to see you again. And we're all pleased to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Really appreciate it. It's good to be back.
Your everything's matching, sis. Your glasses, your earrings, your top.
I thought I should just represent, because when my host is the fashionista of fashion etiquette and putting everything together. In fact, as I was putting it in fact, for the past 2 days, I was like, okay, what am I going to wear? Okay, would this be appropriate? So I just thought, let me just make an effort. I was very tempted to come in my hoodie, but I just thought, let me just behave. Yes.
Hey, it's Hangout Cafe. You wear your hoodie to the cafe, so hey.
I know, but you don't want to see this particular hoodie. Is the kind that a member of my family who will remain unmentioned, but she's my only daughter. She has a way of hiding my stuff away, because it's like, Mom, you're not wearing that again, and all of that. So this particular hoodie is kind of like my comfort blanket. So
one of those, we all have those things.
Yes. So how are you? You look well.
Thank you. I'm well, thank you. Good. Actually felt, I was looking through my wardrobe, and then it felt, when it was on the hanger, I think, and it fell down. I just thought, okay, this is what I'm going to
do. It works. It really works. It really works. And then have you been enjoying some of this British weather we've been having?
Yes, but today the weather I think it's gone down a bit. Actually, what's the temperature today? I think it's about,
let's see, temperature today. The day before yesterday was like 27.
Yes, it was really warm. It was really warm.
Well, right now in South Croydon, it is 17 degrees. 17 degrees. Yes.
I think I checked before we came on. It was about 16 here. But
yes.
It's very windy today.
It's very windy. In fact, a part of my fence has just fallen over. But anyway, that's a story for another day. And then around midday, in fact, around now, it's supposed to have like 30% chance of precipitation. Now we're sounding like weather ladies.
And the weather for today.
Yes. And the weather for today is, I wonder what the weather is like.
Okay, someone said 16 in Hertfordshire. Yeah.
Okay, yes, weather.
And weather is really nice, not too cold. Okay.
Okay, weather.
Yeah, sorry about
my offense. Thank you.
Sorry, sis.
Oh, there's Yahweh Igbo. That's my
civilized.
How civilized. That's Lola.
We're British. We're
British, yeah. All we do is talk about the weather and cucumber sandwiches. Yes. Especially at this time of the year. It's windy in Bedford. It's hot in Lagos.
Okay. Hot in Lagos. Oh, Folushaw.
Yes. Hi, Folushaw.
Buckinghamshire.
Any other part of the world, the sub is on its way. CCB.
Yes.
What does it mean by sub? Very windy in South London. Okay, that's joy.
Don't say you're from Abu Dhabi. What's it like? Isle of Man.
Isle of Man, 9. Oh,
9.
Wow. Drizzling. Tilike yellow.
Where are you?
Oh, 29 degrees in Dubai.
Whoa.
But then we did some 27 day before yesterday. Which for here we don't like, because our houses are not air conditioned. No. At night, you go to bed, you wake up tired because global warming, climate change. So 18 degrees in Broxbourne. Okay, that's nice. I hope there's a gentle breeze. So please tell us about your weather. We're doing the weather. It's just hot in Lagos.
It's British weather. It's just
British weather.
Okay.
39 degrees in Qatar.
Oh,
now
Qatar.
Wait a minute. Are you in Qatar or are you just going on Google? So what's the weather in Kozu? We're talking weather now. Please let us know. What is the weather where you are? Extremely hot in Lagos. Okay, Miss Haidomi, I see you. Weather. Extremely hot. The sun is out now in Milton Keynes.
Anyone from Canada, America,
Switzerland?
I drizzle. Switzerland.
Yes.
Where
20 degrees in LA, Croydon. Oh, when you said LA, I thought LA, Croydon. What does LA stand for?
What is LA?
London Borough. Miles in Harrow. Do you see David, your nephew?
No, what
did you see what he just posted? I'm hungry. So I should stop, doing the Lord's walk to come out. Hey, Tubo, is Tubo on?
I think so.
12 degrees upstairs versus A. That's Tubo.
Really?
How can it be different? You see, these millennials, different temperatures depending on what side of the room you are.
Someone is from I just saw something 27 degrees in Houston. Whoa, okay.
Wow. Oh, Pasola Graber says I've got LA on my mind. Okay, that's a good one. Perhaps we should look at the temperature of where we wish we could be.
Oh,
now let me think. Where do I wish I could be? And I know
Miami.
Miami. Okay, what's the temperature in Miami? Switzerland. Aramide, what's the temperature in Switzerland? Just let's Google it. Okay, so this is kind of like
in Chicago.
In Chicago. Oh, sister. Oh, how are you?
It is.
Chicago, that's not bad. Paris. So what's the temperature? Where do you wish you could be right now? And what is the temperature?
Dubai or Seychelles, yes. I wouldn't mind.
Oh, Cape Verde. Okay, Cape Verde. Canada.
Tahiti. Okay.
Barbados. Okay.
Canada.
Where do I wish I could be? Let me think.
Jamaica.
I think it's Spain. I wish I could just be. Yeah, I think Spain. I don't want to go anywhere too far, sis. I don't want to be, especially, now,
especially now,
flight. Yeah. I just want to be. Guess why I wouldn't also mind going to Cornwall? You know why? I've been binging on Poldark. There's this, a period drama that was showing, but it's now on Netflix, and I love Poldark. And the whole setting was in Cornwall, so it's got the cliffs. It's got the sea, it's got the seagulls. And I thought, what, after lockdown, I wouldn't mind taking a drive. So, go away and go to Cornwall. Me neither. I should ask my parents. They might have taken me as a child, but I don't recall going to Cornwall. So I wouldn't mind being there. Can somebody check what's the temperature in Cornwall, please?
I was meant to be in Florida at the conference now.
Oh, sorry.
27.
Italy and Spain.
27 in Cape Verde. Okay. Barbados, 27. Oh,
yeah. Weather in Cornwall.
Spanish vacations this year is cancelled, but I'm there in my spirit.
Wow.
We're there with you too in the spirit. I'm in Miami in my spirit. This is May. I would have been in Lagos now, actually.
Yeah. 21 degrees in Geneva. Okay, Armida, we see. Okay, they're liking they're kind of liking our earrings. Sis Abby, you are really British. I am so British. I'm so sorry. British. But the thing about it, sis, isn't it? I'm very British, but the next minute I'll be like, gosh, where's the pepper soup I am? I'm kind of like a child of, three worlds. It's not a clash of civilizations. It's a convergence of civilization. Maybe we should plan a trip to Cornwall. So,
sis, I'm not sure I want to go to Cornwall.
Oh, please. Sorry. Okay,
please. I want somewhere more sunny.
Okay, 21 degrees in Haiti. British.
But we might have a choice because I don't think I would get on the plane till the end of the year.
That's the thing. That's why I said a short flight. I mean, I could bear a couple of hours. So maybe to the Mediterranean, the continent somewhere, So I could do Spain. Oh, I could do Italy. Sorry, go on.
I don't want to get on a plane, sis. I just want to drive.
But we could drive. Guess what? My brother once actually drove from Spain all the way here. But at some point, they had to cross the English Channel, so they had to go on the ferry. But even then, there's still, I wonder how that will work post-lockdown. Driving, across continents.
That would be interesting, actually.
Yeah, he did it. In fact, he's done it about 3 times, he and his wife. Yeah. So, Spanish food is always good. Cornwall, why? Auntie Carol, I will still walking tomorrow because I'm supposed to go into the woods. Sorry, private conversation gone public, as Pearl will say. I have been drooling over Auntie Pearl's collection. Collection of what? Anyway, apparently they like our earrings.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you have a lot of these hoop earrings. I have
a thing for hoops.
Okay.
Yeah, hoops, loops. I really do. Since I was a little girl, if I was looking at old pictures of myself, and there was always some loop. I don't know what it is, but I really do like.
I don't think I actually have any, you know.
Oh, please, you have to. I wonder what the guys think. The guys who are online think about hoops and earrings. Yeah, and maybe it's all that Shadi Adu. Do you remember Shadi Adu?
Yes, yes.
You know,
she used to have
her hair slicked back, and then I think that what it is. It's mostly a 70s thing. And you know, obviously, I'm not ashamed of my age, but you know, just Lola says she likes a collection of pearls.
Oh, thank you. I love pearls. I love pearls.
Yeah.
See my ring, pearls.
Oh wow, you really do like pearls.
I love pearls.
Yes. I mean, I like pearls too.
Tubo
but,
said he loves
it's too girly.
Hoops.
Who was that? Is that David?
That's Tubo.
Oh, Tubo, you like hoops too? Good. That's my guy. Tubo, yes. You know,
Tubo, you can get one for your mommy, okay? Thank you.
Shameless plug in public, begging for earrings.
They really transform an outfit. Really, Tubo?
The pearls are very classy and posh. Yeah. Are you saying that I'm not classy and posh? We can take this conversation offline.
Okay, let's go to the topic. Someone said, can we please go to the topic? Yes, let's go to the topic.
Yeah, but we've got to warm up the space now.
Because you know there are going to be loads of questions today.
Yes.
So I think let's go to the topic.
Okay.
So today we're talking about pain.
No virtual hugs. No hugs.
Oh, forgot. Yes. Hugs. Can we get some hugs, please? Hugs. Yes, thank you. We want to see some hugs. Come on. Let's see some hugs. Yes, thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you. Yes. Hugs. Lots of hugs. Be kind to yourself.
Yes. Thank
hugs. Thanks for all those emojis coming in. Lots of hugs.
Thank you. Hugs. Lola, thank you. Yes. Oh, hugs. Now we can feel it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
So
today we're talking about parenting. Help! I'm a parent. I'm sure some people want to shout that help. I need help.
I haven't brought my notebook and pen.
You know, we thought no better person to come to help us with this issue of parenting than Abby Olufeyimi. She, you know, okay, I'm a parent. She's a parent, but you know why she's extra special? She brought up 3 kids literally on her own. 3 kids, 3 children. And in my own opinion, they've turned out well. Now, that's not to say that they're perfect children, but they've turned out well. So yes, Sister Abby.
Okay. Already I'm seeing things like help, I'm a parent, I'm a single parent of 3 teenagers, step up biological and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so help, I'm a parent.
If you've got questions, can you please put them in the question box, please? That way we won't miss it, please. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, so, help, I'm a parent. So do you want to introduce the topic?
What exactly is, you know, I always like to think, a parent, who is a parent? Now, you know why I ask this question? Because sometimes we think you have to be biological to be a parent. Can you please, you know, we've talked about this.
Yeah, we have kind of unpack it a little bit.
So yes.
Okay. If I would say to be a parent is a calling, right? You know, it's a calling, it's an assignment.
Yeah.
And whichever way you come into the fray of parenthood, then it's a sacred charge to be responsible for another human being.
Yeah.
So as you said, whether I'm a birth parent or whether I'm a parent by adoption, whether I'm a parent because I'm in a blended situation, whether I'm a foster parent, right? Whether I'm somebody's ward, you know, but parenting is assigned, I believe, to every human being. Now there's a difference between, you know, and I don't want to use all the nasty jargons, you know, things like, you know, the baby mama and baby daddy and all those things, because they're very disrespectful. But I do get the popular culture and I get where they're going, in the sense that, okay, yes. So I remember once in Croydon, many years ago.
Sorry, sis, I really love that. And someone brought it up. Parenting is a sacred charge. I love that.
Exactly what, you know, yes, it is a sacred charge. And so when you begin to realize that it's your calling, and it's not until when you're in a relationship, you know, even if you're not, even if you're not in a relationship, if you have a desire, a healthy desire, and you say, one day I would love to be a parent, you know, then the first thing is not even about the child, it's about you and where your heart is. So it is a sacred charge, whichever way you come into the fray. And so, like I said, you know, so whether I'm a parent because I'm in a relationship where I'm going in and my spouse, you know, or my partner already has children, right? So there's a sacred child, or whether together biological. Again, from our experience, we know quite a few people who are single parents. Single parents even by choice. I mean, some of, you know, the people that are quite close to my heart who just said, you know what, it's time for me to parent. I'm not in a relationship, but I am in a headspace emotionally and everything else, and I would like to parent. And they went out and, you know, adopted children. So, but whichever pathway, right, you got into it, I would say before going into it, it's something that you have to say to yourself, it's a sacred charge. For some of us, it's trust on us. So in other words, I love it, especially when you know, when you hear couples say, oh, we weren't really planning for this child. Well, heaven was planning for this child. And the plan was that the child was going to come through you. It's still a sacred charge. So, you know, so that's how I would say it's a calling. It's a privilege. It's an honor. It's a real privilege. It's a responsibility. It's a task. Sometimes it can be like a thankless task. But believe you me, it has its rewards. So I think just to set the conversation, yes.
Okay. So please don't forget, send your questions. We're waiting. Okay. Now, how do I put this now? You know, parenting seems to, well, for some people, it looks very easy. You know, some people, you just see them with their kids are always well turned out, and you're thinking, oh God, my kids are not like this. Is it something that is natural to everyone, or is it something that we have to learn how to be a parent, acquire skills?
So is it nurture or is it nurture?
Oh, yes.
I would say it's a combination of both. So there's some things as a parent you learn a job. You know, sis, that myth of, you know, these children, they turn out, you know, and with all due respect to all of us who are parents to be, you know, one day we'll be parents. Sometimes parents pretend, you know, because we don't live with them. There's no such thing as the perfect kids, and we're also well turned out. We know that experientially and all of that. But at the same time, there is a place where love covers. And I believe as a parent, yes, you don't wash your children's dirty linen outside, right? And all of that. So yeah, we all have this, you know, presentation parenthood where, oh yes, we're really good. Our children are not our trophies.
No, they're
not our trophies.
They're not.
You know, and like I said, by whatever, and you know, and some trophies may even have a tarnish. You know, and need a bit of polishing up and all of that. So they're not our trophies in the sense that an extension of me. Oh wow, this question is real. How does one bring up God's fearing children? Please, are we capturing these questions? Yes. So, you know, so yeah. So so there's no such thing as perfect children, perfect parents. Nurture in the sense that some of us are probably more nurturing as parents, our nature. And some of us are not. So, which means we have to acquire the skills like anything else. We have to acquire parenting skills. So, yeah.
Okay, can we answer this question then?
How does one bring up God-fearing, confident children? I think it starts with you. It starts with you. Are you confident and God-fearing? It starts with you as a parent. You know, I remember, sis, when we're talking offline, one of the things we said is that before anybody goes into the journey of parenthood, it's important that you are very self-aware and you appreciate what are your values. So if for instance, you know, fundamentally, I want to raise godly, you know, God-fearing children. What does that look like? That is one of my core values. I want to raise God-fearing children. But am I godly and God-fearing, or do I just go to church myself?
Good question.
You know, because sometimes we can pass the responsibility of God-fearing children to the Sunday school department. Meanwhile, I'm not God-fearing.
And then you blame the teacher. when you think that your children
and all of that. You know, so and honestly, with all the respect to the person who sent the question, I know that's probably not what they meant.
Yeah.
But in other words, there's something about an individual that is God-fearing, right? And that sets you up for life, in terms of how you respond. So in other words, I want to equip you with faith, with values that will set you up for life. But that doesn't mean, as most of us, you know, that child wouldn't do a detour, because the child will also have to discover God on their own terms.
Absolutely.
As I like to say, God has no grandchildren, you know, but yes, I must in my parenting signpost and be an enabler and craft an environment, you know, where, and even by example, where my children will say, I remember my dad. I remember once my older son was asked to write an essay in school, and he must have been about age 9 at the time. And these were the days before Bible apps and whatnot. And guess what he said? He said, oh, I like my dad, and his favorite book is the Bible. Nobody told him that. But those were the days of the big leather-bound Bible. And his image was of always seeing his dad. You know, his dad liked the newspaper, he liked Newsweek and all that. But, you know, there was always some leather-bound Bible somewhere that, you know, and all of that. So, and you know, a leather-bound, I don't know if you remember, prop time. Because, you know, here's mine. You know, this massive, you know, and all of that. You know, it's quite imposing. And I guess when you're 9 years old, you know, you know, just the image, So I hope I'm not missing any...
No.
Yes, any remarks? So yes, so I want to raise God-fearing children. I begin to pray into it also, even from the womb.
Yes.
Even before I'm in a relationship, God assigned me. But to raise God-fearing children also means I'm going to have to be like God. Hey, Abiola, you've started.
Yes.
No, can I tell you? Can I unpack it?
Yes.
You know, there's an incredible story in the Bible. When you go offline, please Google it. There's a tribe called the Rechabites.
The Rechabites.
And what it is about the Rechabites was God was even frustrated with raising his children. So to raise a family does not mean it's not going to come with its frustrations.
No.
It doesn't mean that the children will not disappoint you. It doesn't mean that, you know, you will not disappoint yourself. God was frustrated with raising his child, Israel.
Yes.
And so at one point, you know, he actually said, to the Rechabites, Recabict, he said to Israel, he said, go and look at the Rechabites. Talk about comparing families. It's like saying, go and look at the Joneses. You mean God said that? Believe you me, it's in the Bible, you know? So he actually said, go and look at them. He said their father will say, sit there, and they will sit there. Their father will say, wait for me at the doorpost. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. And when they get there, they're there. He said, but you, Israel, I've loved you. You know, I've blessed you. I've combed your hair. You know, I've given you my word. What will I do with you, Israel? Even God was frustrated as a parent. You know, when you sign up for this job, that's part of the job description.
And it's got nothing to do with whether they're your biological children or your foster parent or no.
They're children. With an Adamic nature. Growing. And so that comes with the territory. It has nothing to do with it. I remember once somebody said to me, I'm really struggling with this child. And because the child looked at me and said, oh, leave me alone. You're not my father. And guess what I said to this individual? I said, even if you are that child's biological father, right? He can look you in the face and say, leave me alone. You're not my father. It's not, you know, he's being a child.
Personal.
Yes, it's nothing personal. I remember growing up, where my mom, you know, I was in a disciplined situation in my teenage years, and I thought my mom was just too strict. And one day I looked at her and I said, you're not my mom. You can't be my mom. And that generation, you know, if you said you're not my mom.
Yes, I used to think my mom, she couldn't
just look at me, you know. I never tried that stunt again. That just, you know, because it was like, you know what I mean? So it's nothing personal.
It's nothing personal.
You know, I mean, and having said that, that's not to say in a blended situation that children will not play up. You know, sometimes, you know, one parent may be trying to overcompensate the other. You know, we carry a lot of guilt and whatnot. I mean, you know, for all of us that are hanging out here today, obviously in the space we have, we're not going to be able to exhaust this subject. But what I'm really hoping is that we will take nuggets, even if it's just one nugget, you know, and all of that, that you can just, you know, really take to the bank and just say yes. So I'm so sorry we're missing some of the comments here. But
and even
please,
before you go, so for example, blended families, before you go into it, count the cost, you know, think about it, because you're going to take on other people's children, or somebody's going to have to take on your children. So
that's right.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we're camping in the space of blended families, because increasingly we're finding that many relationships will have a blended family aspect. You know, we're finding that, you know, it's I don't want to use, it's a norm now. It's not unusual. And as you know, my daughter rightly said, he said, you look at them as your bonus children. And I think the whole stereotype of my stepmom and stepdad, you know, if you read Cinderella growing up, or Things Fall Apart, or some of these other schools. Unfortunately, there's a stereotype about step families. Although I love the Brady Bunch. Again, I'm giving away my generation. But the Brady Bunch, I thought, wow. I don't know if you remember the Brady Bunch, where these two individuals met. I mean, they both were in, obviously in a previous relationship, had children, and they all came to live together ever after. Of course, there's no such thing as ever after. But I believe that, even if before you go into a blended situation, there should be some honest conversations. We need to agree on discipline. We need to agree on, on different things, if, obviously if the previous spouse is involved in the lives of the children, what does that look like? And even if it's a situation where the spouse had passed and then you remarried, one thing that I always say is that don't erase people's history. Before you came into this relationship, there was an existing history. Let's honor the history. Let's honor that history. But then let's create our own stories too. Let's create our own traditions. But don't, don't pack away, sometimes you could, because I'm such a romantic at heart. You watch some of these these films, on TV, and then you see people packing away the Christmas presents. I've seen Third World War break out because the Christmas presents and the ornaments, no, not the presents, sorry, the ornaments that were on the Christmas tree from the previous experience of family is now no longer put on. And, so we can't erase people's history. It is what it is, but we can honor. We have to have honest conversations about values. And we need to know that children will play, and whether blended or not, they will play us against each other.
Oh, yes.
As parents.
I used to do that with my parents anyway.
There you go. Go ahead. Let's talk. Please talk about that, please.
I would say, Daddy, Mom,
Daddy's girl.
Meanwhile, my mom would have said I couldn't have it, but my daddy, yes, my daddy will give me. And then, I think he caught on later on. So he would say, what did your mom say? Did your mom say you could have it? And he'll go and ask God. Of course, she'll tell him, no, I said she couldn't have it. So kids are very good at doing that.
Yes. They want it's negotiation. They're learning the act of negotiation. But we have to know that we're not moving the goalposts. So if you go and meet Daddy, you trust me, this is what Daddy said, and if you come back to Mom with this, but then I keep feeling in my heart to talk about where some of the challenges again in a blended family situation where, okay, Daddy had said I can do this, and then you pick up the phone and call Mommy. who yes, she's your mommy, but Mommy is not in this relationship. My goodness, we need to talk about this so much. These are some of the challenges.
I just saw something, and I was going to mention when you were talking about values. And I said something about counting, because even before you get married,
yes,
you have to talk about your values. Are we going to things like, are we going to educate our children in private schools or public schools? Or things like that. You need to have those kind of conversations even before you get married to anyone.
That's right.
So important.
Yes. And even while we're married, we also need to have a refresher course.
Yes.
Because sometimes our values, we may have both agreed before we got married that our children are going to go to into private schools, right? But then we're now married, a couple of years, 3 years into the marriage, our finances are not as, so, how do we navigate those changes? So do we do a combination? I remember when I was raising my children and all of that, when I was married and family, they all had private education. But when I became a single parent with single income and even sometimes no income, the reality changed. So what I tried to do, I did what I call the best of both. you know. So, you know, so for a season, they could have a little bit of private education. This was here in the UK. And sometimes they just went to good state schools, good grammar schools, good sixth form college, you know, but by God's grace, they still turned out educated.
Yeah.
So yes, because even that, I know in some relationships have started Third World War, where, you know, one spouse may feel, you know, one member of the family, we can't afford this. Oh, you know, I went to Corona, you know, and in fact, this is actually what happened, you know, where, you know, I remember, you know, when I was raising children, I wanted my children to have a British education, you know, so it was a particular school, right, a particular British school, whereas my husband was more American. Right, because his education was so, even things like that, you know. So there are these conversations that we've got to have, and we've got to continue to have. Yes.
Let's take some questions, sis. Okay. Confidence of a child can be knocked by situation, and that can change their personality. You can pray. Okay, so it's not really a question.
It's a comment.
It's a comment.
Okay. Well, confident. Well, maybe we could even address that in terms of you know, a child's confidence. A child's confidence starts, in my mind, you know, again, from the home. Somebody had sent a question earlier, if you remember, about bullying.
Yes, the question was, let me get,
you know, so why you're fetching the question?
So I think how do you handle it if your child tells you that they're being bullied? Yes.
That's right. Okay. So I think the issue of confidence is very important. How confident am I as a parent?
Yeah.
Right? You know, in terms of navigating this skill of, you know, this new space of parenting. I believe that you can never overdose on love.
No.
Right? No. And overdose on even giving young people, you know, life skills, especially in the area of confidence. And what comes to my mind is that we can't shove and push. You know, we all have different personalities, and we must allow that child to grow in confidence. You know, the safer
give us some practical things. Like,
okay, so for instance, okay, you know, before I came online now, you wouldn't believe it, even though I've done this quite a few times and all of that, I was a bag of nerves.
Me too.
You know, what about you?
Yes, always. You know, anyway, we talk about it after.
I was actually nervous.
Yes.
You know, and all of that. But you see, because, you know, the responsibility of the conversation, of the people that are logging in that will watch later, you know, I thought, you know, you've got to do this thing. I was a bag of nerves. So I knelt by my bed. It's like, God will help me, you know, took a deep breath, made sure, and all of that. I needed time to grow in confidence. Some of us are more confident than others, so, you know, and all of that. So I believe that we must give children space to grow in confidence, and we all grow at different pace. You know, so if you know, you know, so confidence can be even practical skills that allowing them to do the dish. And, you know, giving them small responsibilities.
Yes.
You know, because obviously I'm talking across generation. I'm talking to those with 2-year-olds. I'm talking to those with young adults. I'm talking to those who are parenting teenagers. But I think even from a young age, we can build confidence. We can affirm, you know, and all of that. And sometimes our confidence can be undermined because no matter what you do with that child at home, they're going to go out into the big bad world, and somebody can just say something and they're deflated. Right? And they come home and it's like, well, Jamie says he doesn't want to be my friend anymore, you know, because I'm not sharing my sardine sandwich. And you're like,
sis, let me ask this question. So you're trying to help your child build up her confidence, for example, and you say to the child, oh, you're beautiful, but the child,
you're clever.
Then the child goes out and some person in school says you're fat, you know, you're this. So what would you say to that child when the child comes home and says, Mommy, somebody said I'm fat, but you said I'm not fat? So what would you say to that child?
Or what if somebody says to the child, you're fat, and you are fat? Because, you know, some children are fat.
Yeah. But what would you say to the child?
What would I say?
Yeah.
I would say, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are beautiful. I love you the way you are. I would dance with that child, you know, and all of that. And then, okay, we're doing dishes, they're doing the homework.
But then the child says, let's be real, the child says, Mommy,
I'm being real.
You say that. No, but the child says, Mommy, because you're my mother, you will say that.
That's really what my children used to say to me. And I'm like, yes, you don't need to believe any other person. right? Because their opinion doesn't really matter. And you need to go back to school, right? And look at that person and says, I am so big and beautiful. You know, yes, I love myself. So, you know, it's a back and forth because, you know, like I said, in that playground, in the school, the teacher, even a distant cousin, you know, life is going to continue to strip away from that child, you know, and my responsibility as a parent is to continue, right? To continue to affirm and all of that. So it means, okay, I'm on the school run. Okay, I'm waiting at the school gate. Hi, lovely. What words, you know, what words am I saying? How am I affirming? You know, and lapping it off and all that. And there's a time, depending on the age. I mean, I was talking
and
to...
Go on, sorry. Thinking now, we have to be very careful about the words based on what you just said. You know, sometimes you think, oh, it's just a joke. High fat, so, you know, you're caught and you think that it's just nasty words. Because that is going to not help, that's not going to help build their confidence.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for instance, I remember growing up as a child. Remember, okay, I alluded to it when I had my Insta Live birthday, you know, shenanigan. And I remember being tall, you know, 5'8". I've been 5'8" since I must have been age 13. I, you know, just really shot up and you know, so really always tall. And everybody made fun of my height, right? So much so that I used to walk with a stoop. Okay, and in my late teens, I used to think all the cute boys were short. You know, so that didn't help, you know, and whatnot. But the confidence, right, because of the home that I came from, and seeing my aunties, you know, we're very, you know, tall clan, right, and seeing my aunties, especially, you know, female, obviously, and all the affirmation, you know, all that undermining myself, you know. So it's not even just the parent's responsibility. It takes a village, you know, we talked about this, to raise a child. Who are the people speaking into your children's life? You know, and all of that. Who are the people, you know, speaking into your children's life? So this issue of confidence is so much because we have a crisis of confidence, right? Not just, you know, in children, but even in parenting, you know, where, you know, we're busy competing. Parenting is not just about them getting good grades or the lesson teacher. No. Or you know, I put food on the table. You know, we've got to parent them emotionally. You know, we've got to parent them mentally. And be in that space. And you know, and if there really is a crisis, we go out of ourselves and get help.
Because we don't know it all.
We don't know it all.
You know, I was wondering, do you know, before people actually become parents, whether blended or biological, I think it would be good for people to actually go for parenting courses or parenting classes.
Absolutely.
It'll be the same way we go for marriage counseling and stuff like that. I think it's really good to go for parenting classes because we don't. I definitely know, like when I started off as a parent, I didn't have a clue.
We did. So, I mean,
can we answer that question about bullying? Someone said, can we answer that question about how do you handle if your child tells you they're being bullied?
Now, do you want the
not the Niger mother.
My child is being bullied. Let me just
yes.
You know, it's one of the worst things to go through, both for the parent and even for the child. And with all seriousness, there are different degrees where, you know, a child may be bullied. I was even asking David upstairs, you know, to say, you know, do you remember as a child, you know, what did it feel like and all of that, you know? So so there are different degrees where, you know, a child is being bullied in school, you know, oh, look at you. Oh, we're not your friend. You know, they're life skills, right? You know, where
been told that HTB does practical courses on parenting and
thank you.
Some other church in Lagos.
Read books on parenting and all of that. So so you know, so there's, you know, so there's that bit where the child comes home and we, you know, and it's like, again, that thing of confidence. You know, whoever it is that is outside that's bullying you, is whatever they're saying to you is not a reflection of who you are, right? So in other words, strength. You've got to build, really put some scaffolding around that child and around that child's
and when the child tells you the first time, don't overreact.
Thank you. Thank you, sis.
Yeah,
that's powerful. Yes, because sometimes, you know, it's, you know, it may, you know, we have to learn life skills, and even tough life skills on dealing with people that don't agree with us. So like I said, on the continuum, you know, it could just be children in school, you know, and, you know, because these days of sensitivity, political correctness and labeling, you know, it may just be children just being children. Sometimes children can, you know, I don't like you, you're not my friend, you know, and all of that. That doesn't mean that child is bullying your child.
No, no.
They're being children. So we must know when we step in. So we're keeping an eye. We're watching. But is this child withdrawing? You know, is this child not doing well in school? Is this child saying, I don't even want to go to school? So really paying, really paying attention. And that's why it's important that, you know, we're paying attention, listening. And listen to what the child is not even saying, not just what they're saying. You know? So what's the name of the child that doesn't like you? Jamie doesn't like me, and all of that. Oh, really? And why doesn't Jamie like you? Well, you may find, well, the other day when Jamie, you know, what have you said that made Jamie not like you? Or is Jamie really a bully? Let's even just say Jamie is even a bully and is bullying the child. Let's paint that scenario. Okay, have you told your teacher? Right? So make sure you tell your teacher. And I'm happy you've told mommy. We're going to continue this. We're going to continue talking about it. And if need be, I will come into school to talk to, not to Jamie's mom, you know, all those parents who are at the school gates, ready to sort out Jamie and Jamie's family.
Waiting for
having said that, please, you know, because I'm being very, I remember there was a time when one of my sons was being bullied in school. And in fact, I'd had enough. Guess what I said? I said, don't worry. I had to reinforce him. I had to give him ammunition. There's a place to give your children ammunition, and that's the truth. So I said, you know what? And this was now, he was now, you know, like in, you know, teenage years. I said, tell that person that if they're not careful, not only am I coming to the school, right? But I'm an only girl among boys. I'm bringing all the uncles.
Was this here in England?
Of course, in England. In England, yes. You know, they were all raised here. I said, and I'm bringing all the uncles. I mean, it didn't go beyond that. It gave my son, not only is mommy coming, but she's bringing all the uncles, all her brothers, to sort out this situation. There's another time where the child was being bullied in school, right? And he'll come home complaining, and I'll be like, okay, but sort it out. You know, look that child, look him in the face. You know, you can't take this. You know, you've got to give them the ammunition. Tell your teacher, but I've told Mrs. Coker and she's still not responding. And all of that. But, okay. I mean, you know, our emotions are in this thing. So at some point, he said, and, you know, and I don't want to be rude because, Mommy, you said I shouldn't be rude. You know, we're Christians. We're not supposed to do that. I'm like, oh, my God. One day I'd had enough. I said, you know, when you get to school, and you get to the playground, I give you permission. Just give Jamie one punch. I mean, I'm sorry. Of course. I said, just give him one punch. One. I give you permission. Of course, 2 days later, I get the brown envelope from the school. Carried my bag, carried my son, you know. As we were going to the school, I was tapping his head because I was happy he gave one. Look, I'm sorry. Sometimes, you know, we're at the cafe, you know, I'm not at a parenting conference, you know, but I was so deaf, one punch, you know, just one, because this child had been punching, and my son had to say, but I want to do the Christian thing, you know, and I'm not, you know, and the more they were punching him, and you've told the teacher, you've told the supervisor, and nobody was responding. I said, so on this occasion, you're allowed one punch.
You didn't get into trouble?
I got into trouble. I got a letter from the school because guess what? When they got into trouble, they were like, oh, but you're not supposed to punch. I'm not. So, but my mommy said I can.
Oh. This terrible parent. Terrible.
Sometimes, you know, girls got to do what a girl's got to do. Single parents? You kidding me? You know? And, you know, I can tell you some stories, you know. So, but that's an aside.
Okay, please quickly answer this before we go, because there are lots of questions now. What if your child is the bully?
What if your child is the bully? Again, that's why is your child the bully? What is that? Why is that child going to school and being a bully? Why is my child a bully? So I now need to find out what's going on in my child's life that he feels that I need to lash out. What's going on there in that space?
Find out from the child,
From the child. Why? And then there's a place to role play. you know, where you can say to the child, I'm your mom, I'm your dad. How would you feel if I treated you this way?
Yes.
Or there is your cousin, Jack. There's your cousin, Emeka. There's your cousin, Sally. How would you feel? How would you feel? So in other words, there's a place where you reverse it and say, how would you feel if you were being treated this way? You know, again, back to values of kindness.
Yes.
You know, values of gentleness.
Yeah.
You know, values of care. How would you feel is a good one. I'm not going to, you know, allow this kind of behavior. But more importantly, what is the cause of the behavior?
Okay.
How about those who may have not gotten affirmation growing up? Can they find this in the word? Oh yes. You know, what about if the parents are the bullies?
Yeah.
How about children growing up in homes where the parents are actually the bullies?
Yes, yes. Well, usually you find out.
So whether it's a learned behavior,
yes.
I see the way my mom, you know, treats
my dad.
Whoever. I'm watching how my dad treats, and I think that's how to behave.
Yeah. Yeah. And what children learn, they'll pick up so much from us, from our behavior. It's not what we say. I'm sure we all know that. It's not what we say to the kids. Yeah. It's how we behave at home, how we deal with our husbands or other parents, other adults around us.
Yeah.
They pick up.
Somebody put it there that some parents don't accept that their children are bullies. The truth of the matter is there'll be times when our children are bullies also.
Yeah.
Because it's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
They probably watch the bully in the playground, in church, you know, or wherever, you know, at the family gathering. And so, you know, a bully has status.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, they also want the status. So sometimes our children can be the ones who are the bullies. And that's the truth. We all want to believe the best of our children, you know, and whatnot. And of course we do. Yeah. But sometimes for whatever reason, it could be our children. And if they are, we also need to take responsibility, you know. So if they, you know, again, I'm talking in the school context, you know, where you go to the school, you know, let the school know that you're working with the child, you know, are there deeper things? And if there's not, you know, is it just something that, you know, we can work together with at home, you know, the place for discipline. We're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior where we're drawing certain privileges and all of that. Yeah. We can't go through life, you know, bullying.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay, let's take, oh gosh, there's so many.
Lots of comments.
Yes.
Sorry if I'm missing any of your comments. Thanks, Esther.
Oh, okay, let's see.
I was bullied in school here by a known bully. One day I thought enough and I gave him a big kick in the cough. Sorry. Any thoughts on affirming but managing how much is given so it doesn't get to the kid's head? I don't think you can overlove and over-affirm. You know, I don't think so. The truth of the matter is there's a lot about the children's life that's going to cause things to leak. And I don't think you can over-affirm, you know, lots of words of affirmation. Thank you. And affirmation doesn't mean, if they're not doing well, you know, I'm not telling them yet they're not doing well or if they're naughty. So in other words, even when I'm disciplining, it's still in a space of, I'm going to discipline you because what you did, you know, you've been naughty, you know, so mom is going to spank you, you know, daddy's not going to tolerate this and all of that. You know, but after, you know, administering whatever it is, you know, you're not allowed to use the PlayStation. No, you're not going out. You go to the naughty corner. At the end of that, you bring them out into the space. However, the affirmation now is, but I know that you're going to learn to do better next time. Can you see that's affirmation? You know, not leaving them with a whole load of guilt, you know, and you know, and the burden of I didn't do well. So I am trusting you. I believe you will do better next time. In fact, I just know you will.
You will.
And even if you don't, mommy will still have to correct you.
Yeah.
But you see, it must always end with, yes. What did Mrs. Baker say? What did Catherine say?
I missed that. But I saw Jib said she has an affirmation wall for her kids.
Oh, good.
So every day they see that. Okay, Catherine said you can overdo things. American school system sometimes does it in the lower years. What's gone off now? I can't see.
Okay.
You can.
So I like that thing about an affirmation wall. You know, like this. You know, I remember when we were growing up, we used to get the stars and whatnot. I mean, let's be very careful. You know that my child. I must also know that there's nothing my child will do to earn my love or to take away my love.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a given.
Yes.
Right. I think they need to know that, right? There is nothing that they will do that will ever diminish my love. I may not be happy with you at this season.
Yeah.
I will discipline you.
Yeah.
I can give you a bit of a cold shoulder depending on how old you are. And been there, done that. But one thing that they know is that daddy, mommy loves me.
I mean, I used to say to my kids, whatever happens, regardless, just know that I love you. There's nothing you can do that will stop me from loving you. I love you regardless. That doesn't mean that when you do things wrong, I won't correct you, but I love you.
Yes, absolutely. So that's important. So let's not withdraw love. We can withdraw their games, we can withdraw their whatever, but I don't like to use the word punishment. It's an old English word, and unfortunately, it's a word that's, so even things like I will punish you. Like, for instance, in this part of the world where we live, and
when we sometimes punish,
it's, you can't say to it, you can't even say to a child, I will beat you, in England, because it's taken out of context. The language, is bordering on abuse. Whereas, in our culture, a child of three worlds, when you say to somebody, or the Americans will say, there's a way they say, I will whoop you, I will whatever. Even the language, mommy is not pleased with you.
Yeah. And
daddy is unhappy about this.
Especially parents that are abroad, we have to be very careful about this punishment thing, beating your children, because once they get involved, social services can take those children. In fact, there is a particular case I'm working with, I'm involved in, where we pray that those children will not be taken away from the parents.
Absolutely,
yes. Very careful.
Yes, we have to. Yes, so the words that we use, so I'm going to spank you, and and all that. You will find the words that they will know that, my goodness, this is really serious.
Yes.
And all that. So you have to find the language. So all that, and then I know that we have a mixed audience, so we have people logging in from Nigeria. Threats.
Yes, don't do that.
Even threats from your staff that are taking care of your children, and all of that. There's nothing. What about bullying of house help? I will tell daddy.
Yeah,
you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Or even parents. I remember one of the books back in the day when I was raising children. We didn't have the internet. We couldn't just Google, and get the answers. There was this book by Dr. Spook, and he used to say, as a parent, don't relinquish your authority to the other parent. It was a sentence I read that stood with me. He said, because that child will always, will always think that the discipline must come from the daddy, the good cop, or the discipline must come from the mommy.
Yeah.
If the child does something, don't postpone it and say, I'll tell your daddy when he comes. Do you know that thing is so 20th century?
Yes.
I'll tell your mommy when he comes.
Yeah.
Now there's a place to say, I know you love this person, as in this parent or this auntie, and so you may devolve, but what you're doing is you are devolving your authority
to the other. Yes.
To the other. Deal with that situation and say, yes, I will tell daddy, that I wasn't pleased with how you behave, but not that I'm going to share the responsibility of handling that situation. No. I believe that for parenting in the 21st century, it doesn't work.
No.
Because what you're saying is that actually in this house, I have no authority.
It's only daddy or mommy.
It's only daddy and only mommy. And that's not it. You have the right. It's joint parenting. You have the right to parent that. In the world that we live in now, where sometimes, let's say, okay, in the example I just gave, where the daddy maybe, is working in a different country, in a different state, and only comes at the weekend. We don't want daddy to come home at the weekend and you've got your list of things that you're waiting for him to discipline.
She did
deal with the situation now.
This, Oh my goodness.
Yes.
We have 5 minutes more to go.
You're kidding. Is that all?
Yes.
Wow. And I'm not sure if we've even exhausted,
We haven't. That's...
Tone of voice. Okay, I like that. Somebody say,
tone of voice is what about, parents where we think that it's only university that is the route that every child should go to. What about when a child says, I want to go down the apprenticeship route? What do you say to that kind of child?
Yes. And again, we're learning.
How do you handle that? Yeah.
How do you handle that? We're on learning and we're learning things, where, some children do not want to go to university because that's not the only route to learning or to getting an education. You know, especially in our part of the world, you know, I'm talking of, you know, living in, you know, in Europe and all of that, where, you know, we're learning more and more now that there are just many pathways. And, you know, we've got to, you know, those young people have got to know that, you know, we are encouraging their dream. We spent a couple of weeks talking about dream, vision, and whatnot. You know, for some children, university is not for them. You know, but that doesn't mean that they cannot have a vocation or a career and learn through a different path. And so, even as parents, we've got to educate ourselves. It's not like when you and I, for instance, were parenting, because to be honest, at that time it was university. You know, and all of that.
Not all the university was. You had to be a doctor, accountant, engineer. What else? You know, all this.
Yes, yeah, and that was it. You know, so and so some are deprived, you know, right, of a good education in a different format. And please, one thing I want to say: education is not just about grades.
No.
You know, we don't want to know your children's grades. I used to say to my children, and nobody should ask you about your grades, because it's frankly, it's not their business. Because you know what happened? They pigeonhole you. He got an A star, you know, in English. So it means that it's made for life. Hello. So please, from a young age, we can display, you know, little Funke's, you know, artwork, you know, at age 2. Yeah, they're doing well. But please, because even parents, let's get away from competing, you know, with each other, and even passing judgments on you know, on who that person is. And you know what I realized when I was parenting, sometimes parents, in order to make themselves feel better, right, they would blow up, you know, how they are all of this in their house, so that you don't feel as, no, let's not do this to one another. You know, it takes a village, and we're all villagers. You know, so
and so, I think Bumi said earlier on that, and all these degrees that we have, how many people are actually using them now?
How many people are using it? And that's not to say that we shouldn't challenge our children, you know, and all of that, and stretch them. So, you know, and, you know, they have the ability, they have the opportunity. Of course, you know, we want you to realize your potential and maximize the opportunity that you have. So, you know, there's a place for that. But to just pass this blanket statement that because, you know, you don't have a master's, you didn't get 10 A stars, you know, you're doomed for the rest of your life. Children pick up on that, you know, so.
Oh gosh, there's something else I just, but we only have 59 seconds. Sis, okay, I want you to leave. We'll probably have a part 2, because there's still.
We'll be back. Okay, we'll be back, please.
We'll be back. But give them one word, one scripture, or whatever it's just to take away. We've got like 40 seconds to go, sis.
Wow. Love.
Love never fails.
Help, I'm a parent.
Okay.
Love
never fails. Just love.
Love never fails.
Love
never fails.
You can't go wrong.
The student may fail, the child may fail, you may fail. But love never fails. We'll be back. We'll do a part 2 at some point.
Yes.
And please send your questions to, you know, to our Auntie Funke. Whatever questions you have, please just send, or even to me. So that we can look at this again.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing. Sis! Oh, thank you, love. Thank you so much, sis.
Thank you. Love you. God bless. This was good. This was good.